If you can't relax without feeling guilty, if you apologize for everything, if asking for help feels impossible, you might have been forced to grow up too fast. While other kids were playing, you were the parent, the responsible one, making sure everyone else was okay, even though you were just a child. These are the 7 hidden traits that reveal you were robbed of your childhood, and they're still affecting you right now. This pattern starts young, usually between ages 5 and 10, when a child is forced into an adult role. Too early, they become the family caretaker, making meals, managing money, raising siblings, handling emergencies, all while trying to be a kid. The psychological cost is enormous. Their brain develops around survival, not growth. They learn early that their needs don't matter. These survival patterns don't disappear in adulthood. They become deeply ingrained traits that control every decision, every relationship. Psychologists have identified 7 distinct traits that appear in people who are forced to grow up too fast. Let me show you what they are. Sign 1. Hyperresponsibility. They feel responsible for everything, even things they have no control over. They can't relax because someone needs to be in charge. This person feels anxious when they're not being productive. They can't enjoy vacation because they think something will go wrong if they're not there to fix it. Sign 2. Difficulty receiving help. They learned early that asking for help means no one comes, so they stopped asking and learned to do everything alone. When someone offers help, they say no thanks, not because they don't need it, but because trusting others feels impossible. They were taught you can only rely on yourself. Sign 3. Fear of being a burden. They minimize their needs. They apologize constantly. They make themselves small because childhood taught them their needs don't matter. They apologize constantly for taking up space, for having opinions, for needing anything. They were taught that their only value was in taking care of others. Sign 4. Hypervigilance. They're always scanning for danger, for mood changes, for problems to solve. They can never truly relax. Sarah reads every room, every facial expression, every tone of voice. She's trying to predict and prevent problems before they happen, because in childhood, that kept everyone safe. Sign 5. Guilt about self-care. Taking time for themselves feels selfish, wrong, indulgent, because they were taught everyone else comes first. When Sarah takes a day off, she feels crushing guilt. When she buys herself something, she feels selfish. Rest feels like abandoning her responsibilities, even though rationally she knows that's not true. Sign 6. Compulsive overachievement. They learned that love is earned through performance, so they never stop achieving, working, proving their worth. Sarah has 2 degrees, a successful career, multiple side projects, but it's never enough. She's terrified that if she stops achieving, people will realize she has no value. Sign 7. Difficulty with boundaries. They say yes when they mean no. They let others take advantage because childhood taught them their boundaries don't matter. Sarah can't say no to extra work, to friends' requests, to family demands. She feels selfish for having boundaries, so she sacrifices herself over and over. These 7 signs don't exist in isolation. They work together, creating a pattern: hyperresponsibility plus inability to receive help plus fear of being a burden plus hypervigilance plus guilt about self-care, plus overachievement, plus no boundaries equals a person who is exhausted all the time, but doesn't know how to stop. Here's what's important to understand. These traits developed as survival mechanisms. They kept you safe in an unsafe situation. They were adaptive, they were necessary. But what helped you survive as a child now limits you as an adult. The hypervigilance that protected you now causes anxiety. The responsibility that kept family together now causes burnout. Sarah started therapy 2 years ago. It's been hard learning to rest, to receive help, to believe she's worthy of care without earning it. She's learning to set boundaries, to ask for help, to take up space. She still struggles, but she's healing. The traits are softening. Not gone, but gentler. Healing is possible if you recognize these 7 signs in yourself. Know this: it wasn't your fault. You were a child who needed care, not a child who needed to provide it. You can learn to receive help, to rest without guilt, to set boundaries, to stop overachieving, to trust others, to believe you matter, not for what you do, but for who you are. The child in you still deserves to be cared for. To recap, the 7 signs: hyperresponsibility, difficulty receiving help, fear of being a burden, hypervigilance, guilt about self-care, compulsive overachievement, difficulty with boundaries. If you recognize yourself in these signs, please know you're not alone. Millions of people carry these traits, and therapy can help. You can heal. You deserve to be a child. You still deserve to be cared for. And it's never too late to give yourself what you didn't receive.